You are sitting in the car with her, or maybe at the kitchen island, and she asks you a completely normal question about your day or what you want to do this weekend. But instead of just answering, something tightens in your chest. You pause. You find yourself scanning her face, measuring the tone of her voice, trying to figure out the right thing to say before you say it. You laugh a little too quickly at a joke that wasn't that funny, or you find yourself agreeing with an opinion you don't actually hold, just to keep the peace. You are physically right next to the woman you love, but mentally, you are a million miles away, playing chess against yourself, terrified of making a wrong move. And inside your head, the loop starts playing. Why am I overthinking this so much? Why do I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around my own partner? Am I losing her? Or worse, am I losing myself? Here's the thing, man, you want to feel like that grounded, secure guy she first fell for. But instead, you feel like an imposter in your own relationship. But here is the counterintuitive truth most relationship gurus will never tell you. Your lack of confidence in front of her isn't because you lack worth. It's because you are using your energy to protect her perception of you instead of actually connecting with her. You don't lose confidence because you stopped being attractive. You lose confidence because you stopped being real. If you are trapped in this cycle, I need you to hear me clearly. You are not failing as a partner. This is not a sign that you are weak or that the relationship is doomed. Every man who has ever cared deeply about a woman has hit this exact wall of anxiety. By the end of this video, you are going to understand the exact psychological shifts required to stop performing for her and start standing solid in your own skin, so she can finally feel your presence instead of your insecurity. Let's get into it. Most men believe that being confident in front of a woman means having all the answers, never showing weakness, and constantly driving the relationship forward like a superhero who never breaks a sweat. But the real truth is, your partner's nervous system is reading you before her mind can even catch up. She doesn't need a perfect performance, she needs a safe container. When you fake confidence by shutting down or putting on an act, her emotional smoke detector goes off. She registers your subtle anxiety as a lack of presence, and when presence leaves a relationship, safety goes underground. What looks like her pulling away or being critical is usually just her reacting to the fact that you aren't fully there. This is rooted deeply in attachment science. In a secure bond, confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the capacity to remain anchored in yourself while staying emotionally accessible to her. When you try to force a version of yourself you think she wants to see, you accidentally trigger a cycle where she feels disconnected. She presses for closeness, you feel inadequate, and you withdraw further. To break this, we have to change the emotional tone entirely. The first shift is dropping the script. Most people in relationships believe they need to say the exact right combination of words to keep their partner happy and interested. They treat conversations like a tightrope walk, where one wrong step means free-falling into conflict. The deeper psychological truth is that your anxiety tells you that vulnerability is a liability, but your partner's nervous system actually interprets your absolute transparency as strength. When you stop filtering your thoughts through the lens of will she approve of this, your internal tension evaporates. Here's the part no one talks about. Look at the difference in how this plays out in real life. In the disconnecting version, she asks if you're stressed about work. You put on a fake smile and say everything is perfect, totally fine, don't worry about it, while your shoulders are up to your ears. Her brain quietly registers that he is hiding something from me and that she is alone in this. In the connecting version, you look her in the eye and say honestly, I am incredibly overwhelmed with this project right now, and I'm figuring it out, but I'm happy to be home with you. Something in her shifts instantly, and her mind says that he trusts me enough to let me see him. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. The second shift is mastering the non-defensive pause. Most couples default into a lightning-fast rhythm of attack and defense. The second she brings up a frustration or expresses a negative emotion, most men instantly feel their internal value drop, causing them to either over-explain themselves or shut down completely to protect their ego. Beneath the surface, this happens because our brain's primitive threat center cannot tell the difference between her expressing a hard feeling and actual physical danger. True confidence means realizing that her disappointment is not an eviction notice from the relationship. This is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at how a real moment changes based on your internal anchor. In the disconnecting version, she says, I feel like we haven't spent any quality time together lately. You instantly snap back with a list of everything you've done for her this week, telling her that you went out on Tuesday and you have been working late for the both of you. In the connecting version, she says the exact same thing. You take a slow, deep breath. You let the silence hang for 3 seconds without panicking. Then you say, you're right, we've been passing like ships in the night, tell me what you're feeling. That is the shift that turns a relationship, that feels like a constant negotiation, into one that feels like a genuine refuge. The third shift is holding your own emotional center. Most men in relationships unknowingly outsource their emotional stability to their partner. If she is having a bad day, having an anxious moment, or feeling distant, their own confidence plummets into the floor, and they spend the rest of the day scrambling to fix her mood just so they can feel okay again. But here's what nobody explains. A woman doesn't want to be a regulator for your emotions. She wants to know that your emotional foundation is strong enough to handle her storms without cracking. When you collapse because she's upset, she realizes she has to take care of her feelings and yours. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what two emotionally mature people naturally do. Notice the contrast here. In the disconnecting version, she comes home stressed, quiet, and doesn't want to talk. You follow her around the house, asking if she is mad at you, if you did something, or why she is acting like this. Your anxiety signals to her that you cannot handle her heavy weather. In the connecting version, you notice her mood, give her a gentle kiss on the forehead, and tell her that you can see it's been a brutal day, so you are going to make dinner. And you are right there whenever she is ready to unwind. Your presence becomes a rock. And what's moving through her is that I forgot how good it feels to be chosen and protected by someone who doesn't panic when I'm hurting. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. The fourth shift is radical intentionality over passive compliance. Most people in relationships fall into the trap of becoming passive passengers. In an effort to be easygoing and agreeable, they defer every single decision, from dinner locations to major life choices, thinking that giving her everything she wants is the path to keeping her happy. The psychological truth here is that passivity is actually a form of emotional abandonment. When you refuse to bring your own desires, boundaries, and leadership to the table, she is forced to carry the psychological weight of the entire relationship by herself, which destroys romantic attraction. And here's what changes everything. It is built in the 30-second moments when you choose to look up. Let's look at the language. In the disconnecting version, she asks what you want to do tonight. You shrug and say you don't care, whatever she wants to do is fine, and tell her to pick. You think you're being nice, but she feels the exhaustion of having to lead again. In the connecting version, you say, I know you've had a crazy week, so I booked a table at that Italian spot at 7. Or if you're too tired, I'm ordering takeout and we're locking the world out. Which one sounds better? Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but a man who takes the initiative to care for her well-being. When you step into that identity, she can finally relax her shoulders and step back into her own ease. The final shift is rewriting your shame narrative. And this is the one most couples never figure out. Most men carry an unspoken, ancient fear that if they show up fully as they are, with their flaws, their uncertainties, and their raw human reality, the woman they love will look at them with disgust and leave. Emotional distance in a relationship isn't like a wall. It's like scar tissue that forms slowly over 100 small moments that never got repaired. Your lack of confidence isn't a reflection of your actual capability. It's a reflection of the old stories you are still telling yourself about what you are allowed to be in front of her. This is what it looks like when someone has learned to love without losing themselves in the process. In the disconnecting version, you make a mistake, forget an anniversary, or drop the ball on a promise. You get defensive, make excuses, or disappear into a cloud of self-pity, waiting for her to bring it up so you can argue. In the connecting version, you initiate the hard conversation yourself. You sit down and say, I dropped the ball on this, I see how it impacted you, and I am owning it. Here is how I'm making it right. Her brain is quietly registering that he actually cares more about us than he does about protecting his pride. That is the shift that transforms a fragile bond into an unbreakable connection. This isn't a checklist of techniques to memorize before your next date night. It's an invitation to show up differently as a man, and that changes everything about what's possible between you and the person you chose. When you internalize this, you stop reacting to her every shift in energy and start responding from a place of deep, unshakable internal alignment. Your partner will feel that difference before you've even opened your mouth, because you are no longer asking her to validate your worth. You are bringing your worth to her. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you.